Have you ever wondered, where has my time really gone? In the whirlwind of modern life, we often let precious days slip by without truly living. Each morning, we wake up, rush to work, deal with countless distractions, and end the day exhausted, unsure of what we've actually achieved. Stoic philosophy teaches us that time is the only asset that once lost can never be regained. Yet many people fail to realize this until it's too late. Seneca, the Stoic philosopher, wrote, "Regard time as a finite resource. Don't let it be squandered on trivial matters." But the question remains, how can we live a life without waste? How can we make the most of every single day, every single hour? This video will help you uncover the answers. From planning your day, focusing on what truly matters, to reflecting daily, you'll learn how to turn time into your ally instead of your enemy. Watch this video to join Ewan Callum's journey, a relatable yet inspiring story. Through it, you'll discover actionable steps to take control of your time and life today. Stoic philosophy emphasizes that time is the most valuable treasure. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You cannot control the length of your life, but you can control how you live each day." Time is often wasted on distractions and unnecessary tasks. However, by setting clear plans, focusing on priorities, and reflecting daily, you can turn time into your ally. Asking yourself, does this really matter, is the best way to avoid getting sidetracked by things that don't add value. If you find this content helpful, please subscribe to the channel and like the video to motivate me to create more new videos. Ewan Callum wasn't a special person. He was an office worker living in a small town near Edinburgh, stuck in a predictable routine. Wake up, go to work, have dinner, then sit in front of the TV or scroll through his phone late into the night. Ewan often told himself he deserved to relax after a long day, but he always felt drained, as if life was slipping away without leaving anything meaningful behind. One Monday morning, while riding the bus, Ewan happened to hear a radio program discussing the importance of planning each day to live more intentionally. He dismissed it as a cliché, but couldn't shake the question that lingered in his mind. What did I do yesterday that truly mattered? He tried to recall, but apart from finishing a few minor tasks and watching a movie, he couldn't think of anything he was proud of. That evening, instead of spending hours in front of the TV, Ewan decided to try planning the next day. He found an old dusty notebook and sat at his desk. At first, he didn't know what to write, but after some thought, he picked 3 simple tasks. Wake up early for a morning run, spend 20 minutes reading a book he had bought long ago, and complete an important report he'd been procrastinating on. The next morning, his alarm went off at 6 a.m. For the first time in months, Ewan didn't hit the snooze button. He got up immediately, put on his running clothes, and headed out along the riverside path. The crisp morning air made him feel like an entirely new person. After running a few kilometers, he returned home, brewed a cup of coffee, and opened his book. The pages drew him in, and he was surprised at how much he enjoyed learning something new. When Ewan arrived at the office, he channeled all his energy into completing the report he had set as his goal. He turned off email notifications and avoided getting caught up in meaningless conversations. By lunchtime, the report was finished, leaving him free to relax. That afternoon, he felt a lightness he hadn't experienced in months, unburdened by the usual sense of stagnation. That evening, reflecting on his day, Ewan couldn't help but smile. The tasks he accomplished weren't monumental, but they made a noticeable difference. He hadn't let the day pass by in vain, and that gave him hope. If every day could be like this, he thought, I could change my life. In the days that followed, Ewan grew accustomed to planning each evening. But like any new habit, he soon faced challenges. One morning, as he was getting ready for his run, a message from a colleague popped up, asking about a non-urgent report. Skimming through the text, he felt a nagging pressure to respond immediately. The question lingered in his mind. Should I reply to this first? This wasn't the first time Ewan had been derailed by seemingly urgent matters. At the office, he often found himself drawn into unnecessary conversations or spending hours on non-critical tasks, simply to please others. But this time, Ewan paused and asked himself, Does this really matter? If you love positive energy, give this video a like and leave an enthusiastic comment. Let's spread joy together and create meaningful change. That question became a key that unlocked a new perspective. He realized that responding to the message immediately wouldn't bring him closer to achieving his goals. Instead, he put down his phone and went for his planned run. When he returned, he focused on completing the items on his to-do list, including the task mentioned in the message. However, he addressed it later in the afternoon after tackling his higher priority objectives. At work, the question, "Does this really matter?" continued to guide Ewan's decisions. One day, his manager called an urgent meeting about a project, but the discussion revolved around minor details everyone already knew. Instead of attending just to check the box, Ewan politely excused himself and used the time to finish an important report on schedule. As a result, he not only achieved higher productivity, but also avoided unnecessary stress. Outside of work, this question also transformed how Ewan spent his personal time. One evening, as he sat in front of the TV about to watch a new movie, he realized he was doing it out of habit rather than genuine interest. He asked himself, "Does this really matter to me?" The answer was a clear no. Instead, he used the evening to learn a skill he had always wanted to try but thought he lacked time for: sketching. Each time Ewan asked himself that question, he felt more in control of his life. He no longer allowed himself to be swept into meaningless activities out of obligation or pressure from others. He realized that every small action contributes to shaping one's life, and it was his responsibility to ensure those actions truly mattered. As Ewan continued this practice, he noticed a profound change. He not only became more efficient, but also felt lighter and freer. The guilt of saying no to trivial matters faded because he knew he was dedicating his time to what was truly important. After several weeks of asking himself what truly mattered, Ewan began to realize a profound truth. Time is the most valuable asset he possesses. It cannot be multiplied, recreated, or reclaimed once lost. In the past, Ewan allowed days to pass without fully understanding how he was spending his time. But now he recognized that the way he used each hour and each minute would ultimately shape the course of his life. One Saturday morning, Ewan woke up with a clear plan in mind. Instead of lounging in bed as he used to, he spent the morning attending a virtual seminar on time management. The speaker emphasized something that resonated deeply with Ewan. You shouldn't just manage your schedule. You should invest your time in what provides long-term value. When Ewan returned home, he decided to apply this lesson immediately. He took out his notebook and categorized his time into 3 groups: investment, necessary expenses, and waste. The first group included activities that provided long-term value, such as learning, exercising, or nurturing meaningful relationships. The second group consisted of essential tasks like cooking, cleaning, or completing routine work. The last group was the time he had unknowingly squandered, watching TV, scrolling through social media, or engaging in pointless conversations. Ewan realized that he had been spending the majority of his time in the waste category without even noticing. From that day on, he committed to reallocating more of his time to the investment category. The first step was dedicating Sunday mornings to attending a yoga class at a nearby studio, something he had always wanted to try but kept postponing. In the afternoon, he focused on learning a new skill: writing. Ewan signed up for an online course and promised to spend at least 30 minutes a day practicing. What stood out to Ewan wasn't that he tried to do it all. He understood that not every moment needed to be meticulously optimized. However, he began viewing time as a finite resource. He started saying no to meaningless gatherings or drawn-out conversations that led nowhere. These decisions, which once felt uncomfortable, now felt necessary. He realized that protecting his time wasn't selfish, it was essential. One evening, while journaling, Ewan proudly reviewed his list of accomplishments for the week. Simply by managing his time better, he had achieved more, learned new things, and even felt a greater sense of peace. "I'm investing in my own life," he thought. And with each passing day, Ewan felt the growing satisfaction of turning time into an ally rather than an enemy. One of the biggest changes Ewan noticed as he began managing his time was how often he got distracted. His phone, emails, social media notifications, and even random thoughts constantly pulled him away from what truly mattered. Despite improving his time management skills, he still struggled to stay focused on a single task. One day, after failing to complete a task due to constant interruptions, Ewan decided to find a solution. He stumbled upon an article about the Pomodoro technique, a simple method to enhance focus. The idea was to break work into 25-minute intervals of intense concentration, followed by 5-minute breaks. Ewan thought, "It sounds simple, but maybe I should give it a try." The next day, Ewan put the technique to the test. He placed a timer on his desk, picked a single task, preparing a presentation for an upcoming meeting, and worked uninterrupted for 25 minutes. During this time, he turned off all notifications, put his phone on silent, and didn't allow himself to leave his desk for any reason. At first, it was uncomfortable. Thoughts like, "Should I check my email? Did I just get a message?" kept interrupting his concentration. But Ewan patiently brought his focus back to the task. When the timer finally went off, he was surprised to find that he had accomplished more than he expected. Not only that, but he felt a sense of satisfaction from regaining control over his focus. In the following days, Ewan continued to practice focus by gradually eliminating distractions in his work environment. He moved his desk away from noisy colleagues, deleted unnecessary apps from his phone, and set specific times to check his email rather than doing it constantly throughout the day. Ewan also applied focus to other areas of his life. When spending time with his family, he made a conscious effort to put his phone aside and truly listen to his wife and children instead of giving half-hearted responses. When running, he concentrated on his breathing and strides, rather than letting his mind wander to work-related worries. After a month, focus became a habit that Ewan no longer had to force himself to maintain. He realized that focus not only helped him accomplish more, but also made life's experiences deeper and more meaningful. It's not just about doing more, he reflected. It's about living more fully. Let's create a community filled with love and inspiration together. Subscribe to the Stoicism for Success channel today and share it with your friends and family, those you want to see living stronger, kinder, and more optimistic lives. Let's spread this positive energy to even more people. On a quiet evening, Ewan Callum sat in his small room at an old wooden desk with a warm cup of tea. In front of him lay the notebook he had been using faithfully for weeks, a steadfast companion in his journey of self-reflection and daily review. This was a habit Ewan had built since starting his self-improvement journey. No one had forced him to do it, but Ewan understood that if he wanted to grow, he needed time to reflect and take note of his progress. Opening the notebook, Ewan's pen glided across the pages, guided by the questions in his mind. He asked himself, "What did I accomplish today?" He recalled the morning when he completed an important report ahead of schedule without distractions. At lunch, he chose to read a book instead of scrolling through his phone as he used to. These small actions, when written down, became tangible evidence of his progress. Ewan realized that not every day needed grand achievements. Consistent, small improvements each day held the power to transform his life. But his reflections weren't just about listing accomplishments. Ewan also took time to acknowledge his shortcomings. He remembered the afternoon he got pulled into an unnecessary meeting because he felt uncomfortable declining a colleague's invitation. Although he knew the meeting was irrelevant to his main tasks, he participated and wasted nearly an hour, achieving nothing significant. Ewan reminded himself, "I need to be braver in protecting my time. It's not just good for me, but also for the things that truly matter." Beyond reflecting on successes and failures, Ewan ended each evening by noting what he was grateful for. Tonight, he was thankful for the peaceful time he had to think and write. He appreciated the support of his wife, who always encouraged him during challenging moments. Most importantly, he was grateful to himself for daring to start this journey of change. Even though it began with small steps, he had persevered. After closing the notebook, Ewan sat quietly for a few minutes. He didn't just reflect on the day's events, but also thought about tomorrow. What will I do better tomorrow than today? This question didn't burden him, but gave him a clear sense of direction. He no longer feared the passing of time because he knew he had lived a meaningful day. Through the habit of daily reflection, Ewan found balance between action and contemplation. He wasn't just measuring his progress, but also learning to appreciate what he had achieved. The notebook grew thicker with each passing day, and with every page, Ewan felt himself maturing a little more. Time, which he once let slip away, had now become his ally in building a fulfilling life. Ewan Callum's story is a powerful reminder that time is the most valuable asset we own. We cannot revisit yesterday, but we can take control of today by living intentionally and focusing on what truly matters. Ewan's journey shows that change doesn't come from monumental actions, but from small, consistent steps, setting clear plans, prioritizing wisely, managing time as a finite resource, and reflecting on one's actions each day. Life will always be filled with distractions, but focus and self-reflection can help you realign your path. By learning to say no to the unnecessary, you create space to invest in yourself, your family, and your long-term goals. Remember, life is not measured by the number of years you live, but by how you use your time. Start today. Don't let time slip away. Act now, because tomorrow is the result of what you do today. Thank you for watching this video. Support the community by hitting the subscribe button and turning on notifications now. Don't forget to like the video and share your story in the comments section. Let's spread as much positive energy as possible together.